This video will alternate shots between two camcorders. Look in the top left or top right corner to see which camera was used for each shot. The second camera is a Panasonic HC-V380. The first camera is a Canon Legria HFR806, which I think is exactly the same as a Canon Vixia HFR806, except that the Legria was sold in Europe and records at 50 or 25 frames per second, and the Vixia was sold in North America and records at 60 or 30 frames per second. I am making this video in the year 2024. This model of Panasonic was still being sold earlier this year, but it might be discontinued now. I think this model of Canon was discontinued about 6 years ago. So if you want to buy a new camera, this is not a good comparison of Panasonic versus Canon, but I'm using these cameras because these are the cameras that I have access to. The fire hydrant is the first shot that shows really different colors between the two cameras. When I notice the camera showing different colors, the Canon seems more saturated. That is, it makes more vivid colors. I'm not saying vivid colors are always better. They can look good, but they can also look fake. The Panasonic makes colors that are slightly paler and more yellow. I think these two cameras sold for similar prices. Canon still uses the Legria model name, but the current Legria model looks quite different and is much more expensive than the one in this video. I thought it was worth making a test video showing colorful things in sunshine, since all the other camera test videos that I saw only showed gray and things on cloudy days. Shots with the paraglider are longer. These are the only shots in this video that show significant action. Everything in this video is autofocus. I have not altered any menu settings from the defaults to change color or lighting. Also, I've not done anything after recording the video to change color or lighting. This video does not have any conclusion to say that one camera is better than the other. We will see that there are trade-offs in either choice. Now I'll be quiet for a bit. Here's another shot in sunlight where the two cameras show different colors. I don't remember whether I really used maximum zoom of both cameras looking at these antennas. Anyway, the Panasonic has stronger zoom, and I think the following shots show that. Canon seems to have difficulty with this view. The green leaves in the center have good focus, but the green leaves around the edges of the frame don't look as good. Now, the same again with the Panasonic. The whole frame is equally in focus. Again, the Panasonic shows paler, yellower colors. Zooming in on the red flowers the first time, I had the camera sitting on a solid surface. The second time was handheld. I think the Canon makes a steadier handheld image. When I first used a camcorder and I realized that the image didn't move exactly the same as my hands, that bothered me. But now I realize that stabilization is really necessary for better video. The moon. Do I need to say anything about this? It's a longer shot just because I like looking at the moon. You can see some aberration, if that's the right word, from the Canon. That is, around the top edge of the moon there's a little green, and around the bottom edge is a little red. I don't see aberration like this in the Panasonic image. I think I used maximum zoom for both of these, and again the Panasonic has stronger zoom. I think it isn't fully optical zoom, but I don't see any flaw in the results. The moon was quite difficult to film with my cheap tripod. I have a lot of rejected footage. You can see the moon slowly moving across the sky, and it was very difficult with my cheap tripod to make small adjustments when aiming the camera. Now a test for a specific problem I've had in the past. Zooming in on something on the ground near my feet. Some cameras cannot focus on something that close at maximum zoom. The Canon definitely does better in this test. I thought it might not be a fair test because the Panasonic zooms in more, but actually the Panasonic goes out of focus even before it is zoomed in as much as the Canon. And we have a few more shots showing the same thing. The Canon saves video and photo files in one directory for each day. The names of the directories are numbers in sequence with the day and the month appended. The Panasonic makes directories numbered in sequence but without the day and month as part of the directory name. The Panasonic puts video and still photos in separate directories. The Canon puts everything for one day in the same directory. Panasonic has a feature which in theory gives you an additional option, but I only used it by accident and I didn't like it. It has to do with stopping recording. With the Canon, you can stop recording by pressing the record button a second time or by simply closing the view screen. But the Panasonic has an option to continue recording with the view screen closed. So if you start recording and then close the view screen, the camera continues recording, which uses up battery power and space on the memory card. If you want to stop recording, you have to press the record button again. Now we'll be quiet again. Coming up are a couple of very quick shots of a reflecting sign in sunlight. The whole street is in sunlight, but the camera adjusts for the very bright reflecting sign in sunlight and the street looks dark. The Panasonic shows a little more light in the street than the Canon does. In a similar test with sunlight reflecting off water, I think I prefer the Canon for this. The image from the Panasonic looks somehow softened and altered. Also, the light is yellower. Then a golden roof, and we have another color difference between the two cameras. And a red roof, and again the Panasonic makes a yellower image. Corrugated roof. The Canon has duller focus and the Panasonic has duller color. I said at the start I wanted to make a test in bright sunlight. Maybe it's just as well I ended up with a variety of conditions. At this point, there was still bright sunlight, but the sun was getting rather low in the sky, so this garden was in shade. Both cameras can take still photos as well as video. The Panasonic has a button on the exterior of the camera to press to take a still photo. To take a still photo with the Canon, you tap the corner of the view screen. If you want to see more reviews of cameras similar to these, the one channel that I've seen on YouTube that I would recommend is Marcus Pix, spelled MarkuspIX. We'll put a link in the description. And again, I'll be quiet for a bit. Quite a long bit. Here's another color change. The flowers look about the same color in both shots, but the green leaves are more silver in the Panasonic shot. Those dark flowers are awfully dark, but in the Panasonic shot they're lit so you can see more detail. And finally, a peach-colored rose that again looks yellower in the Panasonic version. That's the end of my talking, so thank you for watching.